Prabhat is where Maya is integrated, and there are a lot of features what Prabhat has. So for a quick introduction, I'll just give you general features what Prabhat can do. First of all, Prabhat is based on user personas.
Okay.
So we are handling multiple user personas across the collection lifecycle. So who are the user personas, right? So that's the next question what audience can ask us. So these can be the CROs, these can be the campaign managers, these can be the collection managers, and also the campaign analysts.
This user persona, and you want to say then your SaaS platform, Pravid, you called.
Yes. For Prabhat, these are our user personas.
Okay, great, good.
Prabhat is built around that. So the major, I'll just give a quick understanding of what the functionalities is. So if a campaign manager wants to come and see how a product Maya works, right? He doesn't have to call our sales team every time. He just has to come and log into our Prabhat. Like they have to just sign up. And we have all our pre-trained models, right? And Maya is just not any use case. It has covered multiple collection buckets in the use case, starting from the pre-EMI till the NPA. So, right. So like if you go for other competitors, they might have like one bot calling one particular use case. And after some time for the same customers, they won't have any context, right? There's no context. But Maya is trained to understand the customer behavior and also the payment behavior.
Oh, good.
Right. So what is the other specialty of Maya? We are talking so much of Maya, right? So now let's say a customer, so Maya calls a customer who has defaulted to pay the EMI amount. So when the bot is calling the customer gives a valid reason, acceptable reason, that medical reason. At that particular time, the Maya bot has to empathetically answer, right? Because it's a very sensitive issue. The customer is in a tragedy, and the bot has to talk in empathy way, right? And also based on the customer's previous payment behavior, if he's a regular payer or if he's been
like a human understand the empathy of customers.
Basically, we are trying Maya to compete with human agents. So that's the goal. And to make the session a little more lively, we would want the audience to hear a few live recordings of what we just explained, right? Because we have just been talking. So over to Sanchit for a quick demo on Maya.
Yes, thank you, Sushma. And that was brilliantly the way you explained everything. So I'll just share my screen and play an audio for you guys.
नमस्ते से आपके ईएमआई के संबंध में कॉल कर रही हूँ। ये कॉल गुणवत्ता और प्रशिक्षण उद्देश्यों के लिए रिकॉर्ड की जाएगी। आशा है कि आप और आपका परिवार सुरक्षित और स्वस्थ हैं। क्या आपसे 2 मिनट बात हो सकती है?
Can you talk in English?
Yes, I can speak in English. You've breached your promise to pay date for EMI amount of 1,325.
Yes,
May I know when you can make the payment?
I can make the payment next week only. I need the time for repay the amount because I was admitted in the hospital because of my accident. That's why I'm asking time to repay the payment, to repay the loan.
Would you at least make a partial payment of 500 rupees to avoid penalty due to late payment?
Sorry, ma'am, I didn't have the money at all, ma'am.
What is the maximum amount that you can pay?
I'm not having the amount also.
I would also want to inform you that regular repayments on your loan positively impact your CIBIL. Not paying dues on time may impact your future loan eligibility. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Yes. So basically, this was a call extracted from a live campaign where the user had not paid for about 23 to 25 days. And the bot calls the user and asks the user to make the payment and reminds her. Now, since the user had not made the payment for 23 to 25 days, bot had already spoken to her a couple of times before this call as well. So the bot knew that there are some issues because of which the user is not able to pay. So because of that, the bot asks the user matlab, to even pay a partial amount. So if the user is not able to pay the entire amount, the bot asks ki if you can matlab, just extracting some money at least from the user. Then another important point to note here in this recording was the language change part. So when the call started, the bot started speaking in Hindi, but then the user was a female from the southern part of the country and was not able to speak in Hindi. So the bot switched the language to English during the conversation itself. So this is a very important factor living in a diverse country like India. I mean, there can be a lot of people probably living in Bangalore or Chennai or any other city in the southern part who do not know any local language, or maybe don't know Hindi or those kind of things also. So for them, the multilingual aspect and changing the language becomes very important. Then another point to note here, you must have seen that the user was addressing the bot as ma'am. So most of we have seen this a lot, that a lot of users address the bot as sir or ma'am instead of like just a bot or something. So, and the fourth important point here was the empathy part. So, since the user was not able to pay, the bot asks, ki, why are you not able to pay, or why are you not making the payment? So, the user tells that, okay, there is some medical reason because of which he's not able to make the payment. And in reply to that, the bot gives a very empathetic reply and a very soft reply where the bot just informs the user that, okay, this can impact your credit score. Please try to make the payment as soon as possible. So these were basically the main 4 points which we could see in this thing.
I like this language changing part and negotiation as well.
Yes, this is very important in a country like India, especially. I mean, the kind of diverse population and the kind of diversity that we have, this kind of becomes a very important aspect.
I also want to ask, the language change was English to Hindi, Hindi to English, right? What about other languages?
Yeah, as of now, as we speak right now at 4:23 p.m. on 1st July, our bots are already talking to users in 11 languages, and the calls are happening. With complete language change feature, the bot can switch from English to Marathi, or probably Gujarati to Punjabi. Any and every language can be changed, and it can be done on the go.
Good. If I ask you, like, from English to immediately Punjabi or English to immediately any language, like if you broadcasted the calls to my portfolio, and the customer starts speaking, actually, although I given you the data for English to Hindi only, or suddenly the customer start speaking in Punjabi.
Yes. So the bot will reply in Punjabi, the bot will talk to the user in Punjabi. And then another thing will happen here, ki the bot will capture that, ki, now this user is someone who speaks in Punjabi. The bot will also record that, and going forward, whenever the next call happens to that user, that will happen in Punjabi and not in English. So those kind of learning aspects, those kind of points are also recorded and taken care here.
So as we say in sticky agent in my dialer system, so you want to say that's a sticky language.
Yeah, exactly. But language is a very important aspect considering the diversity in the country that we are living in. I mean, north, south, east, west, 100 kilometers, the language, the dialect changes, the slang changes. So a lot of things change. So
good. So whatever the number and the things you are claiming, so do you have any numbers to prove your claims?
Yes, definitely. So, as Sushma had already mentioned that our GTM is completely focused on the collections use case, and we are working with a lot of BFSI-based companies, and not only BFSI-based companies, but also other FMCG companies or other industries where collection is kind of a use case. So, like talking about specifically BFSI, regarding the secured loans. Secured loans can be home loan, commercial vehicle, or personal vehicle, or property loans. So for such kind of loans, we have a collection percentage of 96% up to DPD 20. So DPD is, for those who do not know, is days past due. So and
How much did you say that DPT 20? How
yes,
much?
96% collection rate.
96%.
Yes.
Okay.
So then talking about the unsecured loans, like the new age app loans, the BNPL category, or the instant personal loans. So for these, where we have been handling the entire gamut of collection use cases, ranging from pre-due to NPA cases. So for pre-due, where the users can make the payment before the due date, we have been able to extract payments from about 36 to 44%. So just consider this: 44% of the people made their payment before the due date. Then talking about the post bounce cases in unsecured loans, we have 93% collection rate up to DPD 15 and 96% up to DPD 45. So these are the kind of numbers that
This is in what product?
So this is basically the numbers that I just gave are average across all unsecured loan category customers with whom we are working with. Can be BNPL, can be instant personal loan, can be app-based loan. So all these kind of products.
Okay. Okay.
Yes. So I would like to add one more point here. So with one of our customers who were into unsecured loans, so initially they were engaged in multiple nudges, like from the DPD 1 only, from first day of post bounce. They used to send mailers, SMS notification, WhatsApp notification, phone calls. So all these kind of things. So with us, we did an experiment with them where we were able to collect payments from 97% of the users in just 12 days. And more importantly, like one very important point here with which the company benefited was there was a cost reduction of 85%. So that was basically the main takeaway for them. Why did they did this experiment? Yeah.
Wow, it's good number, quite good number.
Yes.
And my another, query is here. Is it customizable as a product-wise product? Like I have 3 products. I have a small ticket size. Its average loan is 5,000 rupees. And another unsecured product only. Another product is like the average ticket size is 1 lakh rupees.
Yes.
And the secure loan also we are just starting. So like your platform, your solution, is it customizable according to my product?
Definitely, 100%. So basically, since we are already working with different enterprises and different companies on the use cases that you just mentioned, and for different kind of loan products. So in this case, one very important thing happens ki the way you talk to someone who has taken a home loan is very different, because for that enterprise, the customer experience becomes very important. So the way the bot has to talk, the kind of conversation that the bot has to have with that kind of a user, the personalization that is required in that. And if you are talking to someone from the who has taken a loan based out of probably BNPL or a microfinance loan kind of thing, so the kind of conversation and the kind of user persona would be very different. I guess talking about this user persona and all these things, Sushma will be talking about this a little bit.
Before going to Shishma, I have a question, Sanchit. That
Yes.
What about the CSAT? You guys taking care about the CSAT?
Yes, and not only the CSAT, but also we are measuring the user behavior, user emotions. Is the user willing to pay? Is the user getting agitated, or what kind of reasons are there why the user is not able to pay? So, like these kind of scores, CSAT, NPS. So these become very important, especially in the secured loans category, where, like for a housing loan product, where the loans range can go up to crores or multiple crores or even more than that. So
Great,
for
good.
those enterprises, the customer experience becomes very important. Yes.
The one exactly the pain area I have seen my contact center,
Okay.
training my agents,
Okay.
telecallers. And sometimes what happens, the telecallers are not in mood to, talk to exactly the customers. Some words, not appropriate words being used to
Yes.
call. That I like in the conversational AI things.
Hmm.
I'm sorry, guys. We have a lot of questions here in the Q&A. By the way, so why don't we take just for 2 minutes? Let's see what questions are coming in, and let's try to answer.
You can take Vishek.
Yeah, I'll just take a little bit of time, and then you guys can continue again. Is that fine? Let's do it.
Please,
Right.
fine.
Okay, so we have Aman here who has asked, like, there are a few other collection platforms as well. What kind of automation do they have? So maybe from the product side or from CS side engagement. Anybody can answer?
Yes, Abhishek, I'll take that. So, see, maybe in collection platforms, they will have multiple automations, right? It can be related to the entire collection aspect, like of a when the collection side, when there is a conversation logger, right? The entire conversation gets automated, and you have a place where the reports are generated. That kind of aspect, and then also the reports are automated and generated. Those kind of aspects. There are multiple ways where collection things get automated, and when we go through our platform, we will show you what are things are getting automated from our end.
I see, I see. So there is a lot of like general way of automations as well as specific to the solution that is being presented. Those automations also come into that. All right, all right. Great, thank you. Let's move to another question. Tejas has here. Do the calls get recorded? We did see a recording here, right? Karthik, you want to say something? You have a hand raised.
Yes, for the previous question, the second question is also linked to that. You understand the PTP. Like when the customer tells a PTP date, it's been captured. So if you are running a campaign with hundreds and thousands of calls, exactly what the PTP date and PTP prioritization can be happening. So the next time, based on those PTP dates, this call can the call can go automatically to that particular customer. So if I promise to pay tomorrow, a nudge can be provided. So that kind of things. It can simplify.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. Great, thanks a lot, Karthik. And yeah, regarding the calls getting recorded, I believe they are for the analyst's perspective. We already announced this in the call in the start, right?
And as per the RBI guidelines, also we have to record the calls and maintain a database till about 6 months at least. Yeah.
I believe the nature of the transactional call is something like that. That brings in that enforcement for security and the purpose.
Yes.
And also, Abhishek, I would want to answer Samir Modi's question here. He's asked us, how do you take it forward once the customer agrees to pay, right? So, Samir, here we can have multiple ways a customer, like after the customer agrees to pay, right? There are multiple scenarios. So, we'll have to think through this as a use case. So, the customer has agreed to pay, but has he given a date to us, right? So if he has already given a date to us, if the given date is acceptable, for example, if the customer says, I'll pay tomorrow, like, do the agency agree that tomorrow is okay? Is the PTP given by the customer is okay to pay tomorrow, right? There are places when customer will tell, okay, I'll pay just to end the call, but there won't be any PTP date. In those kind of scenarios, our board would ask the customer, by when can you, thanks for confirming that you'll pay, by when can you make the payment? So there are multiple ways. Agree to pay also can be addressed. And if it's an agree to pay with an acceptable promise to pay, the board would just thank the customer and tell, please pay as promised.
Very great. I hope that answers Samir's question, really. Right. So yeah, I think people are putting questions in the chat as well, which is completely fine. We are going to have a dedicated session as well. I just wanted to bring a break, as in like, why not, since questions are coming in, we are going to tackle. But I would request the audience, please put it in the Q&A, because there is an upvote button. And as we discussed, the maximum engaged person with the most productive interactions would be getting these earbuds, actually. So yeah, looking forward. And I would request Gajan sir to come back Hey, Gajan sir. Hi.
Yeah, hi, once again.
Right. So we tackle a few questions here and there. And in your session, are you fully convinced, or there are a few queries from your side to the team that you would like to ask?
There is some queries left from my side. I wanted to understand about more, Pravit.
Sure thing. Let's take it up. And
Platform. Yes, Shushma is from product side. She can answer.
Sure.
Yes. Sure, I'll take that up. Instead of just answering what Pravid is, I would love to show the audience our actual product. So let me quickly share my screen. So this is our Pravid platform, a depth collection platform. So the first screen, what you guys are seeing here is for a campaign manager. So what is this functionality? As we mentioned to you, right? So any campaign managers can come and just create campaigns here, right? So if you see starting from preview, we have the selection still NPA. So you can select any one of the buckets and the languages. As mentioned, we are functional across multiple languages. So there's a list of languages which we are functioning. And also voice, currently it is female, but in the product's future roadmap, we also have male voice included. And let me come to this particular perspective, right? Channels. In the introduction itself, I have spoken a lot about it's just not any voice AI agent. We are building a strategy around collections, right? So for building a strategy around collections, it is to reduce cost. So I will not want to call a regular payer customer multiple times and also waste his time and irritate him and also add to my cost. So what will I do? If I see that the payment history of a customer is been regularly paying, I'll initially first send him a WhatsApp message. I'll tell him, okay, this is your payment is due on this particular date. By when can you make the payment? And if he responds in a particular way, out of some 500 customer, there'll at least be 100 customers who would give us a proper PPP, promise to pay date. Only for the remaining customers for whom we have not got responses, we will use a next kind of nudge. Okay, talking about nudge is any kind of communication we use to talk to the end customer. So here we also have a date range, create campaign. I think Sendhil had posted a question on the dialer integration. Sendhil, that's in a future product roadmap where along with this campaign creation, see now we have campaign creation functionality along with upload data, right? The next part of this is to have a scheduler and dialer integrated. That is in the product roadmap and which we are planning to close in the next 1 month, Sendhil. I hope I answered that question of yours.
Yes.
And yes, this also the campaign management, right? So once a campaign is managed, we start calling, okay, now let's say a campaign manager uploaded 500 numbers and the calling has started for preview or post to any one of the buckets. Now we would want to come and see them, right? See the transcript. That's what we talk about our conversation logger, right? This is a place where you can, with 100% transparency, check all the transcripts along with the call recording. So if you see here, for this particular call, so the reason here, this has the entire chat transcript along with the summary. Summary is because of medical reason, the customer has refused to pay. And you can also listen to the audio here. Also, along with all these additional features, you can play around with filters and search options so that any campaign manager, collection manager, or CRM can easily filter for this particular. Now, let's say he wants to see the calls for the last month, right? He can just filter based on the date. He can just add a date range and also based on disposition. Disposition is the customer's response. Now, let's say he just want to see how many customers have hung up, right? So he can just put customer hang up. And also he can add call duration, right? Call duration, we have more than 10 and less than 10. Why do we have this? Because if there are customers who listen to the collection agency's name and disconnect, that is a very important aspect to understand the customer behavior in this entire collection life cycle. So this is a just overall view of what the product is. And going in detail, I'll show you about the analytics part and integrations and the strategy in the next session. So Gajendra, I hope I answered your question related to the platform.
Yes, I do have some more questions related to Pravid platform.
Sure.
Yes. So one thing that you have mentioned, female voice, and you said that male voice also coming. Is it any option you are going to create that cross the voice pattern, like female borrower will getting male voice and male borrower will be getting female voice?
Yeah, I understood your question. To answer your question, see, Gajendra, there's also a research paper which has come out on this analysis, right? So the normal contact centers, right? Whenever a female calls a male, so the connection rate and the call duration is higher. That is already proved. So initially, we are planning to do that kind of strategy where initially we will be calling a male with a female tone and a female with a male tone. But as we mentioned, this is a strategy, right? We are seeing customers' behavior, right? It's like every user persona is different. Now, let's say a person, a male is not happy talking to a female, right? Then we'll see from the customer behavior. For 5 times, he's disconnecting in like 2 seconds or 3 seconds. Then the product itself will understand and give us an insight. Okay, this person is not working out. That is the product strategy part, which we'll further discuss in the product roadmap.
Okay, great. It's good. So are you going to show me the strategy part or?
Yes, we can, but if you're done with your question, then we go to the next session where I show the entire demo.
Okay.
But
Okay.
yeah, we'll have more questions and we can proceed.
I have another questions for the I like your the conversation coming in a text. It is also, I mean, will help me to solve my RBI compliance query. Sometimes RBI, I mean, customer complains to RBI and they give us to complain. So something we have to show and something we have in recording. That's a good part.
Yes.
I
The
want to
audit
know.
is a really good thing what we have to show to the any compliance company.
So can you, I mean, I guess Sanchit from business and delivery part, you can just let me know about how scalable this platform and how secure it is for my financial data.
Yes, Rajendra. A very relevant and a very important question and a very important point here. So the other day I was talking to one of my colleagues regarding this point, the way the fintech industry is changing. So if we talk about the lending companies, the NBFCs that started or grew in the late 80s and early 90s, so they had a very steady growth, a very slow-paced growth, but a very steady and a good growth. The kind of companies and the kind of fintechs, maybe BNPL, app-based loans, the way these people are growing these days, it is marvelous. So we have seen companies grow from zero users to users in millions within a few months. So this whole thing was possible because of technology. Now, since this was possible because of technology, so technology will be very important to sustain this growth as well. So talking about the scalability part, we can go from just about 100 or 20 calls, concurrent calls, to 1,000 or 10,000 concurrent calls within minutes or within hours, not exactly minutes. Then another point, very important point here is, so this was basically the upscaling part. So in the current trends and with the kind of growth and the kind of work these BNPL companies are doing, it is important to have downscale as well. So because for example, if you have 1,000 concurrent calls in 1 month, next month you just need about 500 concurrent calls. So if you with such kind of systems, you can scale down the system to 500 within hours, because you would not want to pay extra for those 500 seats or licenses or whatever. So that's basically the scalability part. So technology can handle all these things. That's why we are here and we are doing these things.
Good.
So, coming to the next point that you mentioned, the security part. Yes. So security part, I think Sushma covered some of the points regarding the RBI guidelines and all those things. So in that thing, since we have been working with BFSI sector, different kinds of lending companies for the last 12 to 15 months, so we are completely compliant with all the regulations and rules and whatever, all these kind of pointers that RBI or even TRAI gives. So we completely follow the calling patterns, the calling timelines, the recording guidelines, the way data has to be maintained. So coming to the data security part, we are ISO 27001 compliant, which is the international guideline for information security. Then we have very regular and periodic VAPTs. Then we are also getting GDPR and SOC2 done. We are following all the exact norms and all the guidelines that are required for PCI DSS also. So we have been, and another thing that all our clouds are situated inside the country. Nothing is outside the country since it's a major requirement in the BFSI industry. And we have regular training sessions for all the employees, all the people in the company, all the team members. So everyone basically has to know ki what kind of guidelines are there, how do we have to maintain security, and all these kind of things. I hope I was able to answer your question.
Good to know, Sanchit. Good to know. What about the audit things?
Audit thing, Ajin, can you elaborate a little on that question?
Audit things, trial things, whatever your system is. Like you are going for the GDPR, you have mentioned ISO
Yes.
27001.
So for that, we have regular VAPTs. But the VAPTs are basically vulnerability tests. So which is a regulation from the RBI. We have to do these kind of internal audits, internal tests at periodic intervals of 3 to 6 months. So we have all those things in place. Those things happen all continuously. Then another thing in this thing is the password changes. So the passwords for email IDs, for places where the data is there, or people who can access that, is changed at very regular intervals. All the data is encrypted and stored in very secure cloud servers.
Good, good.
Yes.
Good. One more question, if you can answer.
Okay.
I have a customer across the whole country, and I mean the different language, multiple language. वो कहते हैं ना कि कोस कोस पर पानी बदले, कोस कोस पर चार कोस पर वाणी. So it's a different language altogether. So
yes,
how you guys are solving this one?
Okay, so in this thing, I would like to refer to the video that the demo recording that we played. So in that also the bot was able to change the language during the conversation. So since we have been working with multiple enterprises, multiple loan products, so we have been having conversations with different user bases, people from different parts of the country, and we have had more than 7 million conversations till now. So all our bots are completely and fully capable of handling all these kind of conversations, anything and everything that a user might say. So our bots are completely capable of handling. Because the point that you just made, that the diversity factor, the language factor, is a very important thing in the country that we live in. So you move 100 kilometers north, south, east, west, in any direction.
I got your point, Sanchit. My question is like similar sounding words.
Okay.
Dialects change.
Yes. So basically, regarding the similar sounding words, so since we are working, as Sushma also mentioned, that collections is our GTM, and we are mainly working only with BFSI for the past 12 to 15 months. So we have developed our own speech recognition engines, which are completely biased towards the terminologies that are used in the BFSI sector. Like if probably like loan or phone, the system will automatically recognize that even if the engine reads phone, but it will change it to loan and give that kind of an input to the NLU, and so that the proper response can be created. So we have created biases in our speech recognition system to understand and handle BFSI based conversations in a much better way.
Oh,
that is also one of our USPs, I would say. I don't think anyone in the market has such kind of
I have encountered this kind of the problem. That is the reason I asked specifically the
yes.
keywords, because I was trying some other debt collection technology. Then I got this problem on that technology. Anyway, that's
a very important problem and a very important point that we definitely need to take care of. Yeah.
Because in collection, what happened when we call to customers, they give once or twice a chance, and if they don't want to pay, they just skip calls.
Definitely, whether if someone does not want to pay and is not going to pay, no matter what kind of nudge it is, SMS, or probably even people go there, that person.
Sure, you guys have, I mean, incorporated this omni-channel text channels like SMS, WhatsApp, emails, all are integrated.
Yes. Everything, 100%. I guess Sushma will walk you guys, everyone, through the private platform where all these things will be a little better explained.
There are a lot of questions that I see specifically around how things go on with the Pravid and during the call and these things. So why don't we get into if Gajan sir, it's up to you.
Yeah,
But
please, Abhishek, you can take it. Even it will increase my knowledge about Saarthi product.
sure thing, sure thing. So Sushma, do you want to have a walkthrough for our platform there?
Yes. I think Abhishek, during the platform walkthrough itself, I can answer major of audience questions. So I'll quickly share my screen.
I see some really great questions, by the way. Thanks a lot for making this interactable so much.
Yes. So sorry about that. Just give me a minute.
Sure thing.
In the meantime, Gajendra will write the PO.
Well, Karthik, we have one question. It says like, what is the conversion percentage for PTP to collection? So maybe Karthik, Sanchit, maybe you guys can have a number or some idea around this by the time Sushma prepares.
Yes. So I can take this question up. So there's a very valid and a very relevant question here, because this is one of the most important metrics when coming to customer communication, because getting PTP is one thing and actually convincing the user to make the payment is more important than that. Ki matlab going from PTP stage to actual payment stage. So we have different kinds of numbers for different industries. So talking about the this, what do you say, secured loan category, we have okay, I'll just talk about one client. So in the past, since I was just checking some numbers for one of our clients today morning only, so we received PTPs from around 87% of the users at least once in the entire month's calling, and the PTP conversion rate was around 92%. So 92% of the people who gave the PTP dates actually made the payment by the PTP date. So to enhance this entire PTP to conversion part, we have different kinds of follow-up flows as well. Like we have PTP reminders. Like if a user has given a PTP date, we not only just take that date and store it in a database, we use that to remind the user about the PTP. And in case the user has broken the PTP, we have very specialized call flows available to remind the user that, okay, you have missed your payment date and can you please make the payment. So yeah, I hope I answered your question.
Indeed there. Indeed. Thank you. Thanks a lot, Sanchit. And yeah, I believe Samir, your question is answered there. And you also had other questions regarding like once he has given PTP, do you collect the dues digitally or refer to the case for the respective lending companies? So yeah, this can also be clubbed together with the same answer that Sanchit just provided. The different sort of nudges are provided, and the focus is towards the collection, of course. The mode of payment could be something that can be that you will actually see in the demo. You know what? Let's get into the demo. Sushma, are you ready?
Yes, Abhishek.
All
Thank
right.
you. Yeah. To start with, there were a lot of questions regarding like whether the system has to be integrated to start using our product, right? Not at all. So, but we also have integration option available. We are also running manual like data upload with manual Excel sheets for few of our clients, but a lot of them prefer automation, right? So we have major integrations with Salesforce, and also we have custom integration available across a lot of use cases. Then there's also like talking about payment. We have integrations across multiple payment methods, gateways, that is Razorpay and JustPay, PayU. All these are coming on the way to us. And also, if the client doesn't want to integrate on the payment and just want to know the disposition of the call and do the payment by themselves, we are open for that also. Integrations, it's all based, like it depends on the client's requirement. And also talking about the channels, like we have integrations across WhatsApp, SMS, and email. So this is on the integration part. This is the major start, right? One, when the board to make the calls, you need to have the integration done. So once we have the data for calling, then We have the camping management, so that which is already explained. And once the camping management starts, then there is a logger where you guys can see the call transcript, listen to audios, play around with reports, which has already been explained. What is the next part, right? What is the next main functionality which all the collection agencies look for? That's analytics, right? So you have already got a 360 view of all the payment and everything. But now the analytics part here gives you the entire insights on the camping, payment, and customer behavior. Right? Camping is very important aspect because that's when you'll know, like in that particular camping, how many calls were connected, how many calls were not connected. And also we have like visualizations where calls are less than 10 seconds and more than 10 seconds. This I've already told previously, but I'll just quickly repeat. For customers who disconnect just after hearing the agency's name, so those customers, some other nudges can be used for them. And promise to pay distribution. How many of them promise to pay on 20th, 22nd, 25th? So this is a very important aspect because based on this, our board Maya will personalize their experience. For example, let's consider a user like they said, I'll pay day after tomorrow. On day after tomorrow, if they wouldn't have paid, then Maya would call them asking, okay, hi, am I talking to that particular person? They tell yes. Okay, based on our last conversation, you had promised to pay today, but you didn't pay. Can I just understand the reason for not paying? Or by when can you make the payment? Those kind of conversation will happen with this kind of data. And also we have connected counts, attempt counts, customer connected in a day, then call dispositions. Like for a call, there other than agree to pay, there can be multiple disposition which a customer can give, right? So he'll just hang up, or payment is not in first, just conveyed. Just after the initial message, the customer has disconnected the phone. Yeah, they are promised to pay, and few of them have requested for language change. Language fees, lively, you guys have seen how the language gets changed from one language to the another. So this is on the payment campaign related aspects. Moving on to payment, because what is the end goal of any debt collection platform? To collect the money back, right? So in the payment analytics, we have the payment collection status, like how many are paid in full, how many are paid in partial, and what is the total pending amount, and also timely versus the late payment. And also payment failure status, like if the customer had attempted and then failed to make the payment. So these are some of the aspects on the payment side. So moving ahead, what is our major goal? To understand the customer, right? Because every user persona is different in this collection life cycle. So to address all the user behaviors, we have to understand their behavioral and typological aspect, right? So the payment here in this particular visualization, you guys can see the payment link track, like whether they've actually opened the link or not opened the link, like whether they have used harsh tones to the agent, like don't call me multiple times, or this is irritating. Those kind of customer aspects, we call them like emotional. Those are emotional perspective in the customer typology. Then we have late payment fee offer. Then we have channel response rate. So these are similar kind of dashboards which we have built, and we are giving this to all our customers. Right? Everyone has the access of the logger, dashboard, and integration part. Right? This we have spoken till now is what is currently there in the platform, right? But what we understood was this wasn't enough, right? Because currently we are catering to three user personas. So if you see our template center here also, right? Let's say if at all I want to send a WhatsApp message to a in English to a pre-due customer. So here I have three categories here: high risk customer, medium risk customer, low risk customer. How do we figure out whether a user is a high risk, medium risk, or a low risk? For that, we have an internal privilege score. So how is that score generated? It's just not like CIBIL score or FOIR ratio. It's just not that. It's much beyond that. We have a set of parameters which we analyze and then tag a customer into high risk, medium risk, and low risk. But what we actually felt was, is it okay to just put all the customer into three categories based on the risk type? Then we figured out based on a lot of research, no, that's not going to happen. So what the current Maya future is, just for a pre-EMI flow, we are going to handle 384 user personas. This is going to be based on the demography and typology. What do we mean by demography? It can be like geography, like urban or rural, and then the customer gender, then age, and the occupation. And typology. What do you mean by typology? There are four major aspects when you consider a customer's typology: whether the customer is actually willing to pay, not willing to pay; whether the customer is like able to pay, not able to pay; whether he's financially organized or chaotic, and whether he's rational or emotional. Based on all these aspects, we figured out that just for one use case, pre-due, we can have 384 user personas. That is what we are planning to do in the future. And along with that, even the templates, right? Okay, now once we build a template, and we won't tell you that you should have to use this. In the product itself, you can play around with mind map, change the responses. All those things are what is planned for Maya future. Abhishek, I think I covered most of the part. Over to you now.
Indeed, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for this. And I do feel like a lot of questions were answered in this particular demo and the brief that you gave. And the roadmap that has been presented in front of the Saarthi and the product, the GTM regarding the collection. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for explaining everything. Let's just go for a dedicated Q&A. If anybody else, Karthik, Sanchit, you guys have anything to say, this is the floor.
Yes. So one of the question was, like, how many calls you can make
Yes.
simultaneously.
Yeah.
So that's a wonderful question. Like that depends on number of nodes you have. Like if you have 1,000 nodes, like they can 1,000 concurrent calls can be made. So.
Yeah, I think Sanchit was talking around that while ago when he was trying to convince our CRO, right? And in that, yeah, the same point was raised. So yeah, thanks a lot for bringing this again, Karthik. Yeah. And Prateek Kumar has said, like, it was a smart choice for using biases. I think this is regarding the ASR part where we train our systems and the speech recognition specific. But I do see a few of the aspect. Okay. Like there is one question by Ranjit. It's around how the bot handles different dialects of the language, example Tamil, which has a good number of different dialects that are present there, right?
Definitely.
So who would like to take this?
I think I can take up this question. So, we actually spoke about this a little bit earlier as well. I'll take it a little ahead from that. So basically, living in a country like India, the dialect changes, I think, in every 100 kilometers. You move north, south, east, west, the dialect changes, the slangs change, the way people pronounce the same words, it changes. So that is where our specialization, our GTM comes in. So since we have been working on this collections use case and engaging with different kinds of users through our bots, the bots have been talking. So right now, after around 7 to 8 million calls, after engaging, calling for different enterprises, more than 25 different enterprises for different loan products, different use cases. So now, right now, our bots are fully capable of handling any and every dialect that a user might have. So like even I am basically from Punjab. So from there in Punjab also there are 5 different dialects. So the Punjabi bot handles all those 5 different dialects. So similarly in Tamil Nadu also the bot will be able to handle all different kinds of dialects. Yes.
And yeah, I think it's all about the data when it comes to the AI, it's all about the data, and Saarthi having focus around the technology, especially towards the language and solutions associated with the language and conversation there. So this definitely comes as the topmost important priority for
data first company.
Yeah, indeed. There's also one more very interesting question. Ranjit himself, once again, he had asked earlier, is the bot also able to take calls from customers with whom they are engaged in the conversation? Like take calls from the customer they are engaged in the conversation.
Abhishek, I would like to take up that question. So yeah, so Ranjit, it actually depends. See, what you're talking about is an inbound query, right? But we also think about the use case. Obviously, yes, we can build an inbound use case, but how many customers will call back to us and tell that they're going to pay, right? We have inbound use cases built for other kind of use cases around e-commerce and other platforms. But in collections, if a customer is calling back and telling that he'll pay, that should be the best part. But I don't know, like the numbers would not talk. So we currently don't have that particular functionality, but yeah, we'll think on that to see if the number of currently what the board does is, no, you can't call us back, we'll call you back. Like we just take a call back time and call back to the customer. But yeah, this is a nice use case to think through, and we'll for sure take this into consideration, Ranjit.
Great, great, great. There was one anonymous query. Are you able to detect sentiment like whether user is angry or agitated, etc.?
Yes. So to talk about, see, it's on a text, right? Now let's say a customer is telling, "Don't call me multiple times. I'm irritated," right? We are able to track all those things. So our NLU, natural language understanding microservice, would give the both the exact thing, like exact signal of what the user is up to. So based on that, our conversations change. That's what I was talking about in Maya future. We are going to address all these aspects much in detail. Currently, also we do get, but we are going to think through. We have identified a lot of problems around it, right? Because it's a enhance, the product has to be enhanced everyday basis because it's a new thing in the technology, and there will be enhancements. So this is already in place where we get the sentiments from the NLU, but it's also going to be enhanced further in our Maya personalization parameter.
Great, great, great. Something around customers this time. Akhil Ahmed, he asked like, what percentage of customer remain non-contactable?
Okay, so I think I can take up this question. So extending this question, another thing that happens and we have seen in the BFSI industry, especially in lending, so people also go MIA, like absolutely not contactable. So there is a percentage of those users also. Obviously, we are not handling those kind of things. But yeah, for the connection rates, basically, we generally have a connection rate of above 88%, and we implement different kind of strategies also to improve the connection rates. Like for example, if we are calling from the same number to a user multiple times, the user will obviously not answer. Like if we call the user once from a Bangalore based number, the user might not answer. Then if we call from a Mumbai based number, the user might think, okay, this is a call from somewhere else, and might answer. Then another thing that we implement to improve the connection rate is Truecaller integrations. So the Truecaller integrations, such kind of integrations work very well, especially with the secured loan products. Like a user, if he's getting a call from probably one of the banks and has a loan for his vehicle, so that user would want to answer the call and not avoid it, because the user would be scared, if I don't answer the call, if I don't make the payment, they'll probably come and take away my vehicle. So we do these kind of things. So different kind of strategies are implemented for different kinds of enterprises, different kinds of loan products, different kinds of user bases. So yeah.
And thanks a lot, Sanchit. And also around this, I believe we are also looking into more and more enhanced ways of reaching out to the people, right? Understanding, tapping into the customer's persona and psychology, whether they are willing to pay or not, what kind of psychology they have, what kind of blockers they might be feeling, and what nudge can be particularly given to get the outcome particularly, right?
Yeah, so I would like to add one point here. So there are users who do not respond phone calls. Probably someone who is working in an office and is in office from 8 a.m. to 9 p.m., that person would not be able to answer the call. So for such users, we also recognize this user is not able to talk. Then we move the conversation from a voice bot or a telephonic conversation to a WhatsApp bot kind of conversation. So these kind of strategies can also be implemented very easily.
Indeed, indeed. All right, moving forward, we have Karan Singh Purohit's question. Is this for collection outsourcing agencies or lenders?
Okay. Who's going to take up this question?
It's for both, like I will answer this question. It's for both the people, like I think, we are not competing against these collection agencies, but we are helping them, our goal is to create efficiency, a cost reduction, like in the collection process. So we are already partnering with few collection agencies, like a big collection agencies, contact centers. So that answers your question.
I believe so.
For a few institutions, like we work directly with the financial institutions also.
Yeah. I did
to add a point. To add a point here, like how we partner with these agencies is key. Like the voice bots generally are very successful for early bucket collections. So if the early bucket collections can be diverted from human agents to voice bots, then the human agents can be freed for probably a little late bucket collections or some other kind of use cases or some other kind of conversations that the company might want to have with their users. So basically making the entire engagement and conversation more effective and yeah.
Outcome based, like
Exactly.
what the strategy should be, right? We have Raman here. Raman has asked, like, is the male voice profile not available on the calling right now? I think that part was answered in the demo as well a little bit, but Sushma, do you want to take it once again?
Yes. It's not, see, currently the requirement for us is for female. Like a lot of our clients want a female board, right? But we are like anyone we go for, any client requirements is for a female board. But this male voice board is from our end, and it's not like going to take a long time. Like if at all you guys want to have a male voice board, even for a pre-reminder, which we already have, right? It's going to take 2 or 3 days for us to get on the board.
Indeed.
Purely getting a requirement.
Yeah, and that was also one of the question, like how long does it take to produce that? And there, as you mentioned, like 3 to 10 days it could take, and if it is high priority.
Actually, depends on the use case, Abhishek. So now, right? Yeah. So if it's an existing use case, right? We already have the use case built. There are a lot of customers who are just using our existing built boards. So they just come to us telling, okay, we are okay with everything. You just give us this. That will take only a day or two for the testing. That's because I'm giving a testing time span, right? Because we have to do a one round of internal testing to give the product to the external system, right? If it's a very urgent case, we're also okay for a day. And if there is a use case with minor customization, maybe there's a response change, or let's say there is a partial payment addition or a negotiation part, it'll take almost 3 to 5 days. But if it's a totally new use case, which in collection doesn't occur because we are covering from pre-EMI till NOC and PTPs, all these use cases are much more covered with our use cases. If still there is any use case which has to come up, right, that'll take, depending on the use case way, like because we have the multiple microservices, right, which are all inbuilt. So it starts from 10 to 15 days if it's a very big use case.
Understood. Thanks a lot, guys. One last question, just one last question. I want to bring this up. It's here itself. So one last question. I want to pick this up in what calls a collection. So, oh yeah, there. I believe few other questions have come in a similar way. Right now, what is the most biggest issues or biggest problems, troubleshooting issues, problems that are coming and that we are facing? That is something that audiences want to know. So want to take it up, maybe a little bit about everything.
Yes. Yeah, to talk about that, see, there can be ways when considering the Maya product, right? So there are places when customer is telling multiple sentences, right? That's called multi-label. So where the customer is talking about 2 to 3 sentences. Currently, we had some difficulty solving that, but we have solved that. That's like, now let's say the customer is talking about telling, okay, I'll make the payment tomorrow. How do I make the payment? So he's also giving us an agree to pay with the acceptable date, and also is asking a question. So currently our bot is that capable to address the question. So first he will just talk about, bot will just talk about, okay, you can make the payment via this method, online, this, and then also it will thank the bot for giving an acceptable PTP date and end the call. So there are various aspects, because it's like we are competing with a human agent. So we have to think in that there are multiple scenarios, multiple questions, multiple customer rebuttals can come when a question is asked, right? Any customer response, we'll have to handle that kind of diversity in our boards, and that's what we are working towards. The major difficulty what we are facing is in that, and that's what we are working towards. And along with Pravit, it's making it much easier for us.
From a customer engagement perspective, do you want to bring something up when you think about AI in lending industry and collection industry? What is the difficulty that might be? It could be a minor or major. Do you want to share any?
Yes. Talking from a customer engagement and client communication point of view, so one very important aspect comes here is the understanding that people have about technology, and knowing that technology also has its limitations, and there is a roadmap how technology grows or how technology will improve. कि मतलब from where we are today to where we will be tomorrow, or मतलब in 2 years or in 5 years, and how technology will improve, how the conversations will improve, how the bots will be able to engage the users in a better way. So there are times when making people understand this thing kind of becomes a challenge, because no matter how much we work, how much data we have, how well our bots are trained, there will be situations when the bot fails to understand what a user is saying. So although we have our analysis team working on these things, we are improving day by day, but then the kind of expectations that sometimes the clients have kind of becomes a challenge, making them understand ki, okay, if technology is able to solve even 50% of your problem today, it will very easily be able to address 80 to 90% of your problem in just about 6 months or 1 year time. So the kind of roadmap that is there.
I think especially towards like education and learning and awareness towards AI product,
Exactly.
and how consumers are going to, take it, how clients are going to associate with it. That is something that I was trying to get to that point, and I'm glad that you brought it up. So thanks a lot, Sanjay. Thanks a lot.
Another point, sorry to interrupt, I would like to add here. So, talking about the mindset of the Indian people. So, Indian people are still not in that mindset that they are very comfortable talking to bots. But that is also changing very rapidly and very majorly, especially talking about the user base for these BNPL or instant personal loan kind of thing. So, that is also majorly changing. Yeah.
Right. Thanks a lot. Karthik, do you want to bring up how, from your perspective, how things are coming up with AI getting into the market? And yeah.
See, slowly it's becoming, like whether if you ask me whether this is a need or necessity, I would say this is a necessity.
Right.
At this point of time. So, the fintech is changing. Like it's not the same financial institutions we have seen 10 years ago. So there is a tremendous change going on in the industry. There is a lot of digital transformation going on. So this technology becomes very handy. It becomes a necessity. In another 2 to 3 years, it becomes a mainstream. Like it's already a lot that now there is a lot of interest among customers to adopt it. But if you look at another 3-4 years, like this is a norm.
Indeed. Just the way like how the traditional things caught up, and people going there, move to the call center, and then the AI augmenting the operations and bringing up all the things. So yeah, you're right. It is indeed.
Just like I can give a short example for this. Like initially, we used to have just landlines at home. Then when mobile phones started coming in, there was an overlap period. Now, at least at my place, we don't have a landline. It is just mobile phone. So the change happens.
Great. Gajen sir, from your perspective, how do you want to bring things to the closure here?
Yes, Abhishek, I heard about the other question answers also that really help me to understand about more the AI debt collection technology, Saarthi. So
Right.
it's really great to understand about your product, and it's really, finding it's good. So I think this will really helpful to my collection team. And
Great.
yeah.
You're making notes.
Now you have to commit that when are you going to do the project? When are you going?
This is for what?
Signing.
Signing. I see. So you're going to sign our contract. Congratulations, folks.
I'm waiting.
So the sales team is going to get in connection and then move it to hand it over to the customer.
Definitely.
Great. That was great. And I can see questions are still coming in, but I would request you all, since we are time bound and things are time bound, it's Friday evening, people have to move on and go to, enjoy their time. So we will catch on, and you can always connect to us. You can go to our webpage. You can book a demo on Pravit, what Sushma was trying to show. And from a client perspective, I would just request you to have a one-on-one session with us. We are in Bangalore. In 80 Feet Road, Kormangla. So our office is there. It's in IndiCube, second floor. Visit us anytime. Do inform any one of us to connect to us. And there were a few offers, right, Karthik? Like you were talking about getting it announced. Like, why not take the stage there?
Yes. So do you have the names like?
Oh, the leaderboard right now I don't have, but I believe what we can bring up is from sales activity, and you wanted to have some sort of offer presented for the clients, right?
Yes. So, just a moment. Like, do we have the names handy? Like, like we are going to announce that offer, right?
No particular okay, so this was let's wrap it up. Okay, we can talk about it later, but this was in terms of like we want to reach out to our clients, and there could be like synergy between us and the Saarthi and the clients, and I would like to take it up as a forward meeting that we can do as well, and there we can discuss about all the things there. For the leaderboard thing that I was mentioning, which I think there's been confusion on that. But yeah, for the leaderboard, I'm going to announce that after this session, and we'll send it to a direct mail to the person who has won the leadership board. Right now, as per the QA, I can see Aman Batra is on the top right now. So Aman Batra, congratulations. There were a lot of questions from Prateek Kumar as well. So it will be a bit of analysis that we'll have to go through. As I mentioned, it's going to be maximum engagement. So just putting a question does not matter. The more people want to know, the more we want to support them as well. So we will be giving a Dizzo earbud to them. So yeah, we'll reach out to you directly. We have your contact as terms of from the registration. So folks, looking forward to it, right? All right, then let's close this session. How do you say? What do you say, guys?
I think it was a great session, a great time we had.
It was great talking to you folks. Really great. And have a nice evening, everyone. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Have a nice evening and
Thank you.
really good session.
Right. Bye.
Bye.